listening to 40 Weeks, a production of the Pregnancy Podcast with Vanessa Merton. Visit pregnancypodcast.com/week for all of the 40 Weeks resources and sign up with your due date to get each episode delivered to your inbox when you start a new week of your pregnancy. Thank you for tuning in to the 40 Weeks podcast. Welcome to week 11. You have 29 more weeks to go. You can see a picture of what your baby looks like this week, read the transcript, and access the additional resources for week 11 at pregnancypodcast.com/week 11. Your little kumquat-sized baby is roughly the size of a strawberry this week. They're 1.6 inches or 4.1 centimeters, and they weigh about 1.6 ounces or 45 grams. Their head takes up almost half of the length of their body, but don't worry, their proportions will even out by the time they're born. Their head's starting to look like a cute human face with open nasal passages on the tip of their tiny nose, and the tongue and palate in the mouth have formed. If you could see your baby, you'd be able to see a clear outline of their spine. Their fingernails have started to grow on their mini fingers and toes. If you're having a boy, testes are developing. If you're expecting a girl, ovaries have started to form. Your baby is kicking and stretching. They can do somersaults and forward rolls. They might even be hiccuping. Despite all of the activity going on in your belly, you still won't be able to feel them for another month or two. As your placenta and your baby grows, your uterus has expanded to fill your pelvis. The umbilical cord is supplying your baby with everything they need. That cord contains the umbilical vein and 2 umbilical arteries. The umbilical vein carries nutrient-rich oxygenated blood from your placenta to your baby, and the umbilical arteries carry deoxygenated, nutrient-depleted blood from your baby to the placenta. You might be feeling pretty hungry. That could be a good thing and a signal that your morning sickness is calming down if that's something you've been suffering with. While the saying "eat for 2" is quite popular, you should only increase your calories by about 300 each day. You should also eat a high amount of protein. That nutrient does a lot more than just build muscle mass. It's necessary to structure, function, and regulate virtually all the tissues in the body. So you can imagine that you need protein for yourself and for your growing baby. While there is a recommended daily allowance for protein during pregnancy, some research shows that the RDA is underestimated and varies based on the stage of pregnancy. Supplemental protein powders can be an easy solution if you need to add additional protein to your diet. When you're selecting a protein powder, there are some considerations and cautions for some ingredients and also some contaminants. There is an episode of the podcast that looks at the evidence on protein requirements during pregnancy, examines sources of protein in animal and plant-based diets, and dives into supplementing with protein powders. You can check that out at pregnancypodcast.com/protein. If you have been diagnosed with an incompetent cervix, which is a terrible name, next week is going to open the window for the optimal time to get a cervical cerclage. That window is 12 to 14 weeks. That's a surgical procedure in which your cervix is surgically closed. Typically, the thread is removed around week 37 to allow your cervix to dilate when you go into labor. For more information on having a short cervix, an incompetent cervix, or a cerclage, go to pregnancypodcast.com/cervix. Many expecting moms experience headaches and migraines during pregnancy. And if you got migraines before you were pregnant, you might find that pregnancy actually improves the severity or the frequency of them. We don't know the exact cause of migraines. They're thought to occur from changes in neurochemicals, nerve pathways, and blood flow, and that differs from a headache that's often caused by stress or tension. Migraines can include nausea and vomiting. You might be seeing spots or have blind spots in your vision, and sensitivity to light, noise, or smells. If you are dealing with headaches or migraines, that can affect everything: your sleep, your mood, your nutrition intake, and your overall quality of life. There is an episode of the Pregnancy Podcast that covers diet and lifestyle changes to relieve headaches and migraines and examines different medications and their safety during pregnancy and breastfeeding. Tip for dad and partners: be supportive of your partner being healthy. Their diet and lifestyle choices are the biggest influences on your baby's health. The fundamental pillars of health include eating healthy whole foods, staying hydrated, exercising, and getting adequate sleep. For more information on how you can support mom and your role during pregnancy, go to pregnancypodcast.com/partnerrole. Thank you for tuning in to the 40 Weeks podcast. You can see the full transcript and all of the resources for this episode at pregnancypodcast.com/week11. Next week, your baby is wiggling their fingers and toes. Until then, I wish you the very best in your pregnancy journey.